Hey, what's going on, guys? In this video, I want to cover a lot of the terminology that you'll hear in this business. So, you may have heard me talk about things like passcode locked, iCloud locked, Google locked, cracked LCD, bad ESN. These are all terms that you need to know in this business. So I'm going to cover them really quickly in this video. So let's just start with the first one, with passcode locked. So this one is basically all it means is there's a passcode on the phone, and if it's passcode locked, it means that the customer did not know their passcode. So actually, more than likely, it's not their phone, right? Otherwise, they would know their passcode. And you can just instruct them to go to the Apple store. I would highly, discourage you from buying these devices because most of the time there's something funny going on with the story, right? Once you get to more advanced stuff, you can start buying the passcode locked devices if you can get the iCloud off of there, which that's more advanced. Don't worry about that right now. But just for general rule, avoid buying any passcode or iCloud locked phones, just because you don't want to be getting into anything that could be potentially a stolen device. So that gets me into the next thing, iCloud locked. So iCloud and Google locked. I'll cover them both right here. So iCloud or Apple account, Apple ID, that is for iPhone. Google is for Android, right? Like Samsung, LG, all those things. So your Google account's used for the Play Store. That's where you get apps on Android devices. The Apple account is how you get your apps on Apple devices. So what this means is that these people have an individual login for these things, and they have to type in their password to log out of these accounts. So if you buy a phone and they left their iCloud account on that phone, you cannot sell it as a bad ESN phone working. You have to, eBay doesn't even want you to be listing iCloud locked devices. But if you did sell it, you have to sell it as iCloud locked, because the next person that buys that phone cannot use that phone unless they know that person's password to log out of that iCloud account. Okay, so that's what iCloud is. If you guys don't know how to remove that, just Google how to sign out of an iCloud account. It's pretty simple, and then you want to factory reset every single phone to make sure that the phone is not locked to an account. Okay, so that's passcode, iCloud, and Google locked. Cracked LCD. So this is a display issue on the phone. So you've heard of cracked screen. There's a deeper layer to the screen that transmits like the light behind there. And if that gets cracked, that's a whole separate issue. A cracked LCD and a cracked screen are two different things. So the screen is on the front. The thing that transmits the light underneath, that's the LCD. If the LCD gets cracked, many times the phone won't function correctly. You'll see discoloration on the phone. So that's why I always ask people if I say what kind of, or is there any issues with your phone, and they say it has a cracked screen, I always follow up with the question, is there any discoloration on the screen? Because that tells me if it's just a regular cracked screen, or that tells me if it's a cracked LCD. So the very last thing, and this is probably the most important part of this video, is bad ESN. What is bad ESN? So bad ESN, we buy and sell all phones as bad ESN. So what this means is we are buying the phone, we're appraising the phone, we're searching on eBay, bad ESN, that stands for electronic serial number. All this means is that we don't know if the person that we're buying this phone from, if it is still financed through a phone carrier. So, when people buy new phones, these phones are like $800, $900, $1,000. Most people put them on payment plans, okay? So if you buy a phone and that customer was still paying on their phone, and then they stopped paying on their phone, the person that you sold the phone to, that phone could shut off because that person stopped paying the bill, because technically it's, they still owe on it. So the carrier can actually shut off the phone completely. So if you sold that phone as a clean ESN, and 3 months later that person defaulted on their bill, this phone would be shut off. That person can open up a PayPal dispute. You would have to then have them return the item, refund them, and then have to relist the item as bad ESN, and then the phone went down by $80 in value or whatever it is. Phones fluctuate in price, so this is why I don't go through all the headaches of, oh, I could get extra $20 if it's unlocked, or I get extra $20 if it's not, or if it's a clean ESN. This is why I don't bother with those things, because you don't want to take the risk of the phone not being a clean ESN, right? So I mean, there's some like advanced ninja stuff you can do to figure out, like on Verizon, AT&T, if the phone has been paid off, but you don't have to worry about that right now. So I always try to focus on making more deals. Don't try to like spend an extra hour of your time trying to make an extra 10, 15, 20 bucks figuring out if it's a clean ESN, and then take the chance of not fully knowing of selling that and getting a potential return. So just to keep it simple, keep it easy, buy and sell as bad ESN. So that just means that it's either financed or reported lost and stolen. We don't buy reported lost and stolen devices. If you haven't watched the ESN video in the mini course, that will cover that whole section. We do not buy lost and stolen, but we can buy financed, okay? Whenever you list them on eBay, you have to put bad ESN. So I hope that clarified a lot for you guys. I know I get a lot of questions on those types of things. So that's all I got for you guys. So I hope that helped out.